Hi everyone, this is Dr. Michele Alignay, your family psychologist. Welcome to Coffee Break with Dr. Michele. I'm going to have conversations with you about family life, relationships, and faith, and I hope you join our conversations here at this YouTube channel. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Break. This is Dr. Michele Alignay, bumabati sa inyo ng magandang umaga. Sana'y mag-cooperate tayo with the grace of the Lord at ang internet connection natin ay mag-cooperate ngayong Tuesday morning so that I can bring you this homemade episode. And I'm going to talk about something interesting for everybody. And the topic that we'll have, it's about differences. So good morning. Good morning, Coffee Break friends. Good morning, Tita Tina Dumigbe. I miss you so much. Good morning, Sis Cookie and Sis Yeng. Magandang umaga sa inyo. Good morning, Miss Ami. Ayan ang ating mga early coffee breakers and I really appreciate you being here this morning to join me for coffee break. As I said, sana mag-cooperate yung ating internet connection. So tuloy-tuloy tayo and then you pray with me that we will have a very fruitful and a very good discussion. While I was, planning the topic, I said that I need to talk about topics in homemade. Sorry, this is not homemade. This is coffee break. Sorry, topics here na hindi madalas pag-usapan but very very needed. So that's why I'm here. That's why I'm going to talk about differences with you. But let's contextualize what differences are. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng differences? Ayan, friends, when you hear the word differences, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? Ano po yung una nyong naiisip when you hear the word differences? While I'm waiting for your answers, please share this video to family and friends who just might need this dose of discussion or maybe let's call it knowledge about family life, well-being, and relationships. So, please friends, ano ang ibig, tayo-tayo lang naman ang nagkakaintindihan sa mga bagay na ganito, ano ang ibig sabihin ng differences? Sinong makakasagot? Ano ang ibig sabihin ng differences? What do you mean by differences? That's exactly our topic this morning. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. Naririnig natin yan. Yang sa Tagalog, sabi mo nga, ay pagkakaiba. Ano pa? What's the first thing that comes to your mind? Next question. Habang sinasagot niyo yan, did you ever had a conflict with someone because of differences? Ayan, Priscilla, pagkakaiba ng paniniwala, ng ugali at paniniwala. Hi Je, not being aligned. Drangle individuality. Ayan, I like your answers. Malalalim talaga yung mga tao nakikinig dito sa Coffee Break. Alam nyo, ang isa kong realization, yung mga nakikinig dito at yung mga followers ng Coffee Break, which is kayo, if you don't realize, you are the one who's really intentional in making your relationships work. Hindi ako papakinggan ng mga tao na gusto lang ng feel good. Pero ang nakikinig dito ay yung mga taong wants to go deeper. So thank you for your answers. Might lead to argument. Lizelle, that's so technical. Might lead to arguments and misunderstanding, but also potential for accepting others' individuality. Often, so yung tanong ko, differences and uniqueness, yan. Kasi part talaga ng relasyon at part ng family life at part ng kahit ano. You go to social media, you will see people with differences in opinion. Iba nag-aaway-away sila. 'Di ba? Kaya yan yung ginagawang focus ng marami na pag hindi tayo naka-align, pag hindi tayo pareho, magkaaway tayo. But the world will be very, very boring if we are all the same. So, I would like you to realize that differences has its unique beauty. Napakarami nating pagkakaiba. 'Di ba? And yes, lalo siyang namamagnify, sabi mo nga Priscilla, lalong namamagnify sa relasyon sa bahay because we are mostly at home during this pandemic. So, napakaraming pagkakaiba ng opinion, ng judgment, at ng values, at ng character at talents, and even yung ways of doing things. Yung isa, ganito yung sistema, isa, ganito yung sistema. So, there's a big differences. Sabi nga, there's a staunch differences which how do we deal with all these differences? How have we been in dealing with the differences? Kaya ang tanong ko sa inyo kanina, si Yeng ang sumagot at meron sumagot na iba like si Monica. Meron na ba kayong naging conflict? And if you notice, many of the conflict in the family, it's all about, many are about differences. But do we just give up with our relationship simply because hindi tayo pareho? Do we give up and then throw the towel in our marriage na nako, mag-iba talaga kami ng asawa ko? Kasi in the first place, for married couples like me, we got married simply because magkaiba tayo. And how would the marriage be kung parehong-pareho tayo? So here, I would like you to realize napakarami ng pagkakaiba. Kaya in married life, alam niyo madalas yung naririnig, bakit kayo nag-annul? Or bakit kayo nag-file ng annulment? Why did you separate? Irreconcilable differences. Yun yung sabi ng court. But with, yes, differences are there. And these are some points that I would like you to realize regarding differences. So how do we define differences? Differences are is variety. Differences are pwedeng opposites. Differences is not sameness, but differences exist. So the first thing that I would like you to realize about differences are givens. Nandyan yan sa buhay. Given yan. Parang yung sa isang formula. Diba there are givens if we've studied math and algebra, especially in meron tayong givens sa ibang formula, especially sa physics, na dito mo lang i-compute kasi yan yung kasama sa equation. And relationships are really differences are really part of relationship. They are givens. They are there. Whether we want it or we don't want it, it happens and they are there. Every day, there's differences in what we want to do, what we want to prefer, how we want our day to be. There's differences. And kaya marami yung nagiging conflict with the world, with the society. Wag na nating loyuan dito sa bansa natin. Kaya maraming nagiging conflict. It's because we don't know how to reconcile those differences. Because we focus on differences. But we don't embrace that differences, difference are givens. The next thing is that differences are growth experiences. Hindi ba? Hindi ba natin na-realize that in the major conflicts that we have in the past, with our relationships, even with the relationship with our families, with our spouses, with our loved ones, and even with our kids, we grow because the differences might have created relationship conflict. But come to think of it, we grow from that because we learn something about ourselves, we learn something about the other person, and both of us, pareho tayo nag-grow dun sa relasyon. And if you see that, imagine a relationship without any differences. Gosh, walang challenge. Everybody will be on autopilot mode. Ganun at ganun. Imagine kung yung parang ulam, araw-araw, yun at yun, parang tinapa araw-araw, walang variety. Siguro ang variety mo lang, tinapang bangus, tinapang salinas, or kung ano pang ginagawang tinapa. But that's it. That's what you have. And there's no challenge. So there's no point for us to grow. But here, when you come to think of it, differences are invitation for us to grow. So if you haven't looked at differences as a point of growth, try to reflect on the issues that we have the past years. And because of the differences, dun tayo nag-evolve. Dun tayo mas naging matatag. Dun nag-grow ang relationship natin. Ara Fernanda, napakarami mong reaction. I miss you so much. So, and come to think of it, so if there are givens, if there are growth experiences, and sana during the course of a conflict or during a course of a difficulty wherein our differences are being challenged, we realize na, hey, there is something that I can look into And there's something that I can consider in these differences because there is something worth looking at here. Kasi baka ako rin yung mag-benefit. Kahit na inis tayo minsan, parang marami na tayong puot, marami na tayong nanakit, marami na tayong galit, at marami na tayong sa Tagalog, di ba, merong unsyame, disappointment. There, we have to make it as a growth experience. So, the next thing is that, kung makikita natin siya na growth experience, isn't it that the third point is that, yes, they're givens, kasama na siya sa buhay. Next is, it's a point of growth. G rin yun. And the third is, isn't it that it's possible that our differences are also gifts? Gift yan. Kasi it's for us to unfold. It's for us to treasure. It's for us na, ay nako, buti na lang magkaiba tayo. Because, wag na tayong lumayo. In a marriage, imagine kung parehong-pareho kayo ng asawa mo. Imagine if that differences is not a gift, baka kayo na natataranta at panic mode during this pandemic, those people who are always panicking, but your husband is the calm person who brings sense into everything. Yung differences na kinakainisan mo, it might just be the gift that you need, because the calmness of your husband might exactly be what you need to hold on to during this trying time. And then another thing is that it's a gift because you would really appreciate things that you have not relished or appreciated before. And that's really that stark differences. How differences are in a relationship, how differences are in a marriage, and later I'll move into differences in the family kasi magkaiba. Unang-una, if you come to think of it, ang perfect example ko dito, it's my differences with my husband. Of course, bakit pa ako magsasabi ng iba? Kaming dalawa na lang ni Coach, so hindi siya nakikinig dito, so isama natin siya. So, what's the difference here? Unang-una, may pagkakaiba. So, remember that. Remember? The paradigm we're working on. Differences are givens, differences are growth experiences, and third, differences are gifts. But looking into applying it into marriage, yes, you love the person, pero makikita mo, pag mag-asawa na kayo, iba yung diskarte niya sa ganitong bagay, iba yung diskarte mo sa ganitong bagay. Yung mga bagay na, for example, these emergency situations, ako yung parang, okay, I need to be on top of things, I need to be organized, kailangan naka-forecast yung mga bagay, pero siya, chill. Isa-isa lang. Ito muna. But there are occasions in our marriage that challenged me. Kasi pakiramdam ko, why are you not planning? Why are you not doing things? But in reality, it's not really that he's not doing it, but he does it differently from how I do it. Thank you, friends, sa mga nag-take down notes. Alam kong natututo tayong lahat dyan. So here, there are, hindi naman kayo magkaiba. Pareho yung gustong makarating at one point, magkaiba lang kayo ng dadaanan. And that is very, very good. And that is something that we need to understand. So here, I would like you to realize that bakit ba may magkakaibang ganyan, lalo na sa mag-asawa? Unang-una, meron kayong differences ng personality. Magkaiba talaga yung personalidad nyo. Each person is unique. That's why we are, embracing these differences. Magkaiba tayo ng pagkakagawa, pagkakahubog. The Lord made us so differently. Magkaiba talaga, period. Kaya nga siya givens. And the next thing na pinagkaiba natin is that magkaiba tayo ng pamilyang kinalakihan. Ito yung honestly sa mag-asawa, ito yung napakalaki ang nagiging concern ng marami. It's simply because they cannot reconcile that they married a person who has a different family background. I teach family life family theories. And in the family theories, there's a term that we use. It's called family of origin differences. Ibig sabihin, ganito lang yan. Iba yung puno nyo kung saan kayo ibinunga at iba yung puno nila. Hindi natin pwedeng pagsamahin ang puno ng mangga at puno ng santol. No, it's not about opposites attract. Nakita ko yung sinasabi nyo. It's not about opposites attract. That's attraction. But here, hindi mo nasasabihin na pag nag-aaway kayo, attraction pa yon. It's a matter of magkaiba talaga. Wala ditong tanungan. Alam nyo, ang nakita kong paboritong tanong ng mga tao, tama ba ako? Tama na ka naman eh. Pero tingnan mo yung kabila. Tama rin naman, 'di ba? Yan ang paborito nating tanong because we have judgment for many things. The things that we like to do, we have judgments on this. And so we judge by the measure that how we are raised in our family is the correct way. And how what we've learned, it's the correct way. So it's not about being tama. It's not about being mali. Because that's judgment. We put morality into it already. But the thing is, in the family of origin differences, you have to realize na it is what it is. Is it what is it? It is what it is. That's the way it is. They are givens. Ito yung puno nila, ito yung pamilya nila, magkaiba. And it's just like that. Wala talagang tama. Posibleng sa tingin mo, hindi maayos yung pagkakagawa sa kabilang pamilya. Pero at sa tingin ko, hindi rin maayos yung pagkakagawa sa kanilang pamilya. Pero alam nyo, sa tingin nila, okay yun. Kasi, tandaan nyo, yun yung norm nila. Yun yung nasa unconscious nila. That's how they operate unconsciously. Why? Because they grew up that way. That's in the very fiber of our being. And that alone, it's a very, very big way to see magkaiba talaga tayo. Hindi ito walang tama o mali. Sometimes, as I said, I will repeat that in the family of origin differences, yes, there may be patterns that are not fitting. There may be patterns that are not healthy. There may be patterns that are not applicable. Pero friends, I have to be blunt with you. Minsan, walang mali. Pareho kayong tama. Mas maayos lang siguro yung diskarte ng isang pamilya dun sa isa. Kaya kayo nagka-clash kasi we want control. We want things this way. But you come to think of it, ang isang mas malalim yung family of origin, this is a whole different course altogether. But I would like you to realize that through that family of origin differences, if people are not aware and people are not embracing of the differences of what they have with their partner in life, that creates a big difference. But if you see, kayong mag-asawa, hindi kayo magkadugo. Kaya mahirap kasi magkaiba kayo ng dugo, magkaiba kayo ng pamilyang kinalakihan. Kahit na mahal niyo yung isa't isa, you have to know how to embrace the differences because they are givens. And the thing is, dahil dyan sa family of origin differences at dahil din sa personality and character differences, ma-magnify yung values and interests. The values, the things that we lift up with, what is important for us. Alam nyo, minsan magkaiba yung diskarte, magkaiba yung personality, at magkaiba yung differences na mag-asawa. Pero ito po yung tatandaan nyo. If the values are aligned, the weight of the values is aligned with many things, the relationship will survive. Kasi kahit na magkaiba pa yung gusto nyong patunguha, magkaiba yung diskarte nyo and how you do things, the values would be the core ground that you anchor everything on, and that will be the what you would transpose your goal. Ibig kong sabihin, yung value sa pamilya, pag yung partner mo, lumaki siyang walang value sa pamilya, at ikaw malalim yung value sa pamilya, kahit na kahit na anong workout nyo, kung hindi niya kayo mag-a-adjust ng level of priority. Kaya doon sa mga singles na naririnig dito, always check someone. Not with kung meron kayong opposites attract, not with kung meron kayong attraction. Be sure that it's about character and it's about values. Kasi kahit na magkaiba yung difference nyo, of course magkaiba yung differences, sorry. Kung wala kayo, kung you don't share the same interest and values and passion for something. Passion for spiritual life, passion for the Lord, passion for music, passion for family, passion for well-being. Kung hindi nyo i-share yung mga bagay na yon, hindi it's so hard to work on the differences because there's no point on how you're going to work because at the bottom of it, it's not aligned. So that's about marriage. But let me just go through ano yung mga differences natin among siblings. Sa differences natin among siblings, wala tayo ng family of origin issues kasi we live in the same boat. We live on the same, in the same family. Pinalaki tayo ng parehong magulang. Ang malaking differences sa siblings is really the personality and the character. Honestly, yung values, binubuo naman yan ng mga magulang natin. So, sa pamilya, nagiging malaki yung values. Alam nyo kung kailan? Problems happen when we focus on the differences. And I'll tell you one major issue when parents focus on the differences. Yung sinasabi nila sa mga anak nila out front, but mas magaling yung kapatid mo kesa sa'yo. O ikaw, hindi mo to ginawa, yung ate mo nagawa. Doon na-magnify yung differences. At doon na-magnify din, not just the differences, but the hurts and the issues of each person in the family. When the culture of comparison is existed in the family, it becomes so difficult. Why? Because the differences is the one being highlighted. Hindi na-highlight that each person is different. Each person is a gift. Each person has the uniqueness. The differences is the one being highlighted to the expense of the other person. Kaya ang pinakamasakit na nangyayari sa magkakapatid, nagkakaroon ng comparison. So, parents, kung kayo ang parents at kung kayo yung mga tita, the best favor that you can give your kids is never compare them with anyone. Never make them someone they're not, because they're not. They're givens, right? Differences are givens. Another thing, the problems happen when we focus on the differences. The problems happen when we have unrealistic expectations because we keep comparing. We focus on the differences. We think na, hindi, kaya niya yan. Oto, di ba minsan, because of our differences, when we get married, we feel na, hindi magbabago yan. Yan. Hindi, over the years, kaya yan. Kaya ng pagmamahal ko yan. Friends, you cannot change someone. The person can change if he wants to only. So look at it this way. Problems happen if we focus on the differences. Problems happen if we have unrealistic expectation on our differences. Ganun na yun. Yan na yan. So, unrealistic expectations dun sa anak. If we don't acknowledge their differences, their different gifts, their different talents, we just continue to expect na hindi mag-excel yan, matatuto rin yan. Paano kung hindi niya yun strength? And that becomes the bigger problem. Because we're focusing on that difference. We're focusing on what they cannot do. Because we want them. Ito yung kailangan ko sabihin. We think that people will be our mold. We think that people will go through the mold. Yes, walang masama kung imo-mold din natin sila. Walang masama kung i-form natin sila. But we have to learn to think out of the box. We think within our box. Yun yung mahirap. Hindi natin tinitingnan yung other box. In the chapter of my book, Family Goals, dito ko siya kinuha, Family Goals, Embracing the Imperfections of Family Life. I have this chapter on Unbox, Loving Unconditionally. Napakahirap nun because when we unbox, meaning when we unbox, remember marami ngayong uso unboxing videos sa YouTube, yung mga bagong bagay, ina-unbox and then they take a video. You have to remember that loving unconditionally is not loving within the box. Loving unconditionally, it's embracing your differences. Loving unconditionally is even though the person is different from you, you love him just the same. Even though your child is not your mold, you love them just the same. Even though that your husband and you have differences and preferences for doing things, you love him more than just the same. And that's loving outside the box. Yung pag sinabi na, how do you love outside the box? Yung, kahit na sabihin natin na dapat ito yung standard ng mag-asawa, dapat ito yung role mo, ito yung role ko. You know, conditionally, we have been conditioned we have been conditioned so much on how we're going to do things. But when we love outside the box, magandang tanong mo, May. Sagutin ko muna to. When we love outside the box, paano mo sabihin sa anak mo yung magandang ginawa ng ibang bata, like pinsan or friends, without being comparative? Sabihin mo lang na maganda yung ginawa niya. Ay, nice yung ginawa niya. Period. But don't look at your child. Don't refer to your child. You're affirming, remember, the other person. And also, check the condition of your heart. Why are you commenting on it? May, check it. Kino-comment mo ba yan to the expense para makita nung anak mo to inspire your child or to spite your child? Are you doing it to spite or are you doing it to inspire? Pwede mo sabihin, oh, nice yung ginawa niya, that's good. And maybe you can go to your child and ask him, ikaw anak, what is it that you're interested to do? Yan. In your own way, in your own strength, what you can do, what you think that you can work on. Hindi mo siya kinumpare. At nag-focus tayo sa uniqueness niya. Kasi pag sinabi natin na ay, ang ganda, no? Ikaw kaya, anong pwede mong gawin? And that is already comparing. Tinan mo yung little words make a difference. Pero pag sinabi natin, ang ganda ng ginawa niya. Oh, it's really nice. Anak, in your own way, what do you think that you can work on? So we are acknowledging the uniqueness of your child. So never refer to the other child in the expense of the other. And friends, wag niyo rin gagawin yun sa mga asawa nyo, ha? Now, yung bakit yung asawa ni ganyan, bakit ikaw ganyan yung asawa? Friends, kung gusto niyo yung asawa ng iba, hindi naman posible yun. Hindi talaga siya. When this happens, when we keep focusing on differences, look at what's happening in our society today. When we focus on differences, we have unrealistic expectations and we think just within the box. Within the box, nakahon ka na kung anong partido mo, nakahon ka na kung anong mindset mo, and then we have this negative interpretation bias. Lahat ng negatibo nakikita natin. It affects our thinking and feeling and action. It's called negative interpretation bias. Yung dahil inis na inis ka dun sa differences nyo, konting makita mo, ayan ka na naman. Konting makita mo, lalo tayong na-aggrieve. Diba? The more tayo nasi-stress, the more tayo napapansin natin, hey, I'm no longer growing, I'm no longer becoming the person that I want to be kasi lahat na lang ng mali nakikita ko. Yung bang lahat ng sabihin ini-interpret natin, lahat ng gawin may interpretation tayo dito. It's called negative interpretation bias. Why? Because we focus on the differences that we have. We focus maybe on the differences on opinion at naging conflict natin because of the differences. It happens to many marriages. It happens to many relationships. In community life, it happens. Kahit na sabihin mo, we all serve the Lord because we are individuals. We have different personality, preferences, values, ways of communicating, ways of doing things. Remember, we also have different ways of family of origin issues. So here, let me just show you. We have to how do we work on these differences? I have 4 A's for you. And if you realize, na-discuss ko na to sa ibang episodes, but look at this as 4 A's. Unang-una, acceptance. Friends, balikan niyo yung episode natin ng Art of Acceptance. Ito yun. Accept that it's just different. Accept na pag nakikita niyo yung differences, ngumiti kayo and say na, oh, what is this challenge telling us? How can we go beyond this challenge? So here, it's acceptance. Acceptance is very critical in loving relationship. If you want to love the person out of the box, acceptance should happen. Another one is that acknowledge the differences. Kung kaya nyo sabihin sa partner nyo, sa anak nyo, I know we're very different on how we do things, but I really would like to note it here. You acknowledge nyo na, oo nga no, magkaiba tayo, para pag nagkakaroon na ng conflict because of that, It's just a matter of saying na, hey, I know we're different in this aspect, but it doesn't change na I still respect you and I love you. Diba? Pwede naman yun eh. You know, my daughter, he's like my husband. They are both night owls. And ako naman, I'm an early riser. So, minsan yung daughter ko, minsan alam niya yun. But mom, I really think well at night. I really have my creative ideas at night. Kasi gabi na, ano pa yung dinadrawing niya. And me, instead of being exasperated, it's acknowledging the differences. Acknowledging the differences by saying, sige anak, I'll allow you, pero until ganitong oras lang. So, it's acknowledging the differences. Kung may pagkakaiba, wag nyo na siyang gawing source of stress. Tanggapin nyo, i-acknowledge nyo. And the third is, appreciate the differences. Bakit? Boring yung bahay kung alam magluto ng ibang potahe. Boring yung gagawin natin kung hindi natin ma-appreciate na, ay, I like what you're doing. Iba to sa ginagawa namin, 'di ba? Because they bring new breath and they bring new life to everything that's happening to us. So, we have to appreciate that differences and we have to make the person feel na my mom appreciates it kahit iba yung way ko, they appreciate it. Kahit na I'm not following the usual things that families do, the how they do things, they appreciate it. It's also respecting the person as is. So there, one, it's accept. Second, acknowledge. Third, affirm or appreciate the differences. You show your appreciation by loving the person. We show appreciation by accepting them, no ifs, no buts. And fourth one, friends, this is very critical. You have to align. You have to align. Okay, magkaiba tayo. Pero paano natin to ma-accomplish? Magkaiba tayo. How can we work on our differences and make this happen? Kasi minsan, alam nyo, sa family life, sa pag-asawa, pareho lang naman ang goal nyo na gusto nyong ganito yung state, ganito yung financial status nyo, ganito yung dreams nyo. Okay, pero paano natin ma-work on? So, you need to align. And aligning, it's very hard. Accepting, acknowledging, appreciating, they're like magic formula for unlocking the mysteries of relationship. That's an excerpt from my book. It's living beyond the box. It's a conscious decision we live out each day as we express our appreciation for the people that we love. Yung bang dati kung nakikita natin, we have negative interpretation bias. Lahat ng nakikita nating pagkakaiba, naiinis tayo. It's high time, friends, because we're still in quarantine. Anong petsa na? Pero it's very important for us to continuously work on loving the person out of the box despite of these differences. Kasi nandito tayo sa box ng bahay, pero wag sana tayong nakakahon man tayo sa bahay, pero sana hindi tayo nakakahon sa buhay at sa relasyon. You have to continuously align by communicating, align hindi ko sinabi na sundin nyo lagi yung isa't isa kasi wala nang differences doon. Pero when you bring your relationship into the table, when you bring in your differences in your relationship into the table, you bring them out, we were able to align. Yes, magkaiba pa rin kayo ng personality. Yes, ako mas mabilis pa rin akong mag-isip. Yung asawa ko, mas iba yung way niya of thinking. Ito, stark differences ng male and female. Women, they're multitasker. Men, they're single taskers. Women, ang dami. Sabi nga, the women are like spaghetti, men are like waffles. Nakafocus sila. So, that differences alone, alam mo na yung difference nun. So, you affirm, you just accept it, and then you acknowledge the difference. Nga pala, magkaiba tayo. And then you affirm na, okay, it's okay na ganyan ka. At least you're focused there. And then you just, what do you mean by align? Alignment, it's not about completing each other. O kulang ka dyan, sobra ako dito. No. Alignment, it's complementing each other. So, dun sa hindi mo kayang gawin, na strength ko, ako yung gagawa. Diba? So, ikaw, yan yung strength mo. That's your major differences. So, ikaw ang mag-contribute on that. That's alignment. And it makes our relationship better. So, just to share with you, nung bago kaming mag-asawa, ang sabi, babae daw dapat yung naghahawak ng money. Okay? Yun yung conditioning. But in reality, natawa lang ako kasi sabi ko, bakit ako maghahawak ng pera? Ikaw yung nasa bangko, you works in a bank. Tapos everything I will surrender again to you. So, at tapos, sino yung mas magaling? Mas magaling ako sa detail, pero ikaw naman, mas magaling ka with all these things. So, that's our major differences. And how did we align? Oh, we just, I run through the details and then siya na lang he's the one managing our finances. And he's just transparent. He's transparent with what transpires in the family, kung ano yung in and out, ganyan. So, saan yung babayaran natin. So, we just make the most out of that differences. Kasi, ikaw mas practical yung solusyon eh. Bakit ako yung maghahawak for the mere conditioning na dapat babae yung naghahawak? No, it's not that. So that is out of the box. We are not being conditioned by what the world teaches us na hindi naman align din sa realidad at hindi align sa prinsipyo namin. So rather than complete or compromise, it's actually, my better word for compromise is complement. Yang you said compromise. Yep, ang compromise is a short-term solution. You compromise, you meet halfway. Pero minsan, pareho kayong lugi when you compromise. So, the long-term solution, personally, I believe, the long-term solution for differences, it's really to complement your strengths, complement your gifts. Because in the long run, everybody, when we learn to appreciate our differences, it's really a gift. It's really giving, it's healing, it's refreshing. And really, when you come to think of it, that's how Jesus loves. He thinks out of the box. He loves us despite the differences. Remember in the Bible, who did He heal? The different ones. The lepers, yung may sakit, the women with the hemorrhage, yung mga, ang tawag, yung mga nasa laylayan ng lipunan. And they are the different ones. And there's magic in the differences because it's highlighting the gift in the person because of that differences. Friends, my challenge to everyone in relationships, and that's all of us, don't be stuck in the differences. See how can you turn those differences into givens, appreciate that relationship, appreciate the differences in the relationship because, again, they are givens. They are growth opportunities and they are gifts. But let me just tell you the deal. They are also goals. They are also an opportunity for us to direct our goals. That in each differences that we'll encounter, we'll be able to grow and we'll be able to operate and work on common goals for our family, common goals for our loved ones. And I'll leave you with the 4 A's. Don't forget that in each difference we have with our family, don't forget to accept, acknowledge, appreciate the differences. Accept the differences, acknowledge the differences, sabihin, pag-usapan, pagbigay alam, appreciate it, look at the good at it, look at it in another perspective, and lastly, align the differences for you to complement in the relationship. I hope this helped you, and I would like to encourage you, share this with family and friends. And friends, we have to also, for parents like me, we have to acknowledge our differences with our children. We have to know that they are thriving on a different world than we are, and that's why I'm inviting you. I will be very hard sell on this. I'm inviting you to join me in my Digital Families 2.0 workshop. It's starting next week. I have 3 sessions: digital parenting, digital well-being, and digital learning. You can find the details at the event section of this Michele Alignay page, Facebook page. Please check that out because I promise you I will give you lots of solid information in raising our digital children, in dealing with our digital children, and in educating our digital children. It's 3 sessions, but you can choose to enroll only in one. You can choose to enroll only 3 in 2, or better yet, choose yung mga nag-sign up na po. They enrolled in all 3. And I hope that you parents raising the school age kids, meaning the grade school and the high school, can join me for that session, because we have a responsibility to acknowledge the differences we, the Gen X and Y, have with the younger, with the digital generation. I hope this coffee break has shared with you. Kung hindi po kayo mag-enroll dun sa digital family session, please share that with family and friends. Will be very helpful. And don't forget to click that share button of this coffee break and share this to those who needs it, because we have to make our relationships work, and that's what coffee break is for. This is Dr. Michele Alignay saying thank you and good morning. See you again on Thursday. God bless you all.